Martin Hyde.
Well, good evening, everyone. You know, go figure it was different. There's 5 Republicans on the county and 5 Liberals on here. What a shock. The fact is that you don't really need to watch the video again. I understand Vice Mayor did. They said no, and they said no unequivocally, and it is their decision. So you go pound sand and knock yourselves out, and then these guys won't get their TIF next year. So you are literally wasting your time. Nobody is saying that you can't get money for Newtown. Nobody's saying this is just the wrong vehicle. It's bootstrapping, it's tax, it's socialism, and we don't want it. Now I'll talk about what we're supposed to be talking about in the motion. This is about how long the additional taxes in the form of the special tax district are imposed on a group of city homeowners on the presumption that the government is due for a slice of their investment return on their property because of alleged increases in their property values based on governmental action. In this case, it's the development of the Bay Conservancy. One could certainly opine that such a development could increase values, but unless the local increases exceed those of other neighbourhoods, I could see how they might feel they've paid while others have not for something that arguably benefits others as much as anyone else. But I digress. This all looks somewhat innocuous if you look at the material until you look at the projections table, which shows a city contribution obligation under scenario 2 of 12 million from the city portion for a 10-year TIF up to a whopping and eye-watering 112 million for a 30-year TIF. This is because the potential rises in value compound, so do the sums raised by the TIF. I do understand why the Bay would want the longest terms, as it's essentially guaranteed funding for a generation, but I can't help thinking that 30 years is a long time to commit not just the taxpayers, but also future commissions. Marina Jack, by way of example, has a sweetheart deal that doesn't expire for another 28 years because a previous commission gave them an agreement that suited Marina Jack, but gave nothing to the city residents. This agreement isn't as one-sided, but it's as good and as worthy for everyone as it's hoped to be. I don't see why the TIF can't be for 10 years to start, as surely future commissions and taxpayers will renew it if it's as good as hoped for. 30 years is a long time. What seemed like a good idea in 1989 wouldn't perhaps look as good today. And similarly, to make a decision that obligates future commissioners and future taxpayers until 2050 seems rather presumptuous to people that are actually on borrowed time themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. My comments in terms of all of this, I actually am somewhat agree with Martin Hyde.